Hey everyone, what's up? What's going on? And welcome back. CantDrop here. And today we will finally be going over the last covenant I have tested for Survival Hunter, and it's the Kyrian covenant. In this video, we're going to talk about the covenant class ability, the signature ability, what benefits this covenant offers, why I would choose to play it. We will talk a little bit about my thoughts on what content this covenant could be slash is good for. Is it rating and plus PvP? And then the last part of the video, I will share some of my thoughts on what I think about the Covenant overall. It's just my opinions and some of the testing that I found out, but I figured I'd share it all with you just to be on the safe side. So now, before we jump into the content, I just wanted to give a huge shout out to all the new subscribers and everyone that has been and is still watching the channel. Thank you. And don't forget, if you want to see more of that Survival Hunter content, make sure you subscribe and hit that bell to be notified of any newly posted content to the channel. And if you liked the video or it helped you in any way, don't forget to smash that thumbs up button. It lets me know that it was beneficial for other people other than just myself. I spent literally the last few days, probably 5 or 6 days-ish, setting up my PC because I finally got my new computer set up, so that I can bring you guys better quality content, more graphic wise, so it's entertaining. And the laptop I was running really wasn't handling things too well anymore, so I needed an upgrade, especially to improve the channel and the content for everybody that likes to watch the videos. I've been doing that. Also, I will leave a link in the description below with the new Discord server that I have made for the channel. So if you want to talk survival, you want to just chat, hang out, even find a couple of other survival hunters to do battlegrounds with, even compare builds, do whatever you want, I'll leave a link for my Discord down in the description below, and just go ahead and join up in the Discord. But now that I got the new PC set up, there's going to be plenty more content to come. I am still working on getting everything fine-tuned for the most part, and that will come with over time. So gradually over time, the amount of videos and the speed of which they're coming out and being uploaded to YouTube for more content for everybody to see will progressively get faster and better. I think I might have to switch my editor program due to the fact that it's not doing what I want to on this new PC. It doesn't look as good as I thought it would. So I'm going to try something else. If you guys have any, thoughts or ideas on what program I should look into, leave me a comment down below letting me know. I'll take a look at it and see what I can come up with. If it's something that I like to use and I can use, then by all means, I will most likely use it. So yeah, if you guys have any recommendations on that, just let me know. I'd love to hear them. Without further delay, let's jump into the Kyrian class ability. Resonating Arrow. Fire a resonating arrow to the target location that deals 347 arcane damage to any enemy in the area, and fill the area with echoing anima for 10 seconds. The effect causes your attacks to ignore line of sight to enemies in the area, and you have a 30% increased critical strike chance against them. Leaving the area of echoing anima will still allow the hunter to ignore line of sight towards the enemy for 4 seconds. It's on a 1-minute cooldown, which makes it work really well when you want to time it with your coordinated assault or your eagle, any other cooldown that you really might want. It's also a very nice cooldown, especially to have on such a short 60-second cooldown. You can use it on trash packs, 2 or 3 trash packs before a boss, and be able to, clear a couple of mobs or a trash pack or 2 faster than you normally would. And by the time you get to the boss, it'll already be off cooldown. Pair that with the 20% damage from coordinated assault that you get added to your crits with a 30% crit chance increase with your base crit added on top of that. That's a nice chunk of burst for single target or AoE. The added effect to hit targets through walls makes this ability so much fun to cheese dungeon mechanics, or even, on, say, Shriekwing, normal, heroic, or mythic. When he does the echoing shriek, then you can literally line of sight him and just drop your resonating arrow on him and still be able to continue your DPS while other melee classes are losing DPS. So it's a nice ability to keep consistently more damage going out for the entire raid team or even throughout a dungeon. The 30% ability to chance added to crit as well just makes being able to shoot things through a pillar that much more satisfying. I would say super fun to use as an ability overall. Next up is the Covenant signature ability, Summon Steward. Now, when I say this ability is OP, I mean it is OP. I love this ability very much. It's on a 5-minute cooldown to call your Steward to bring you a Phial of Serenity. When consumed, it restores 20% of your maximum HP and removes all curses, disease, poison, and bleed effects. Honestly, the easiest way I can put it is it's a mending bandage that heals 10% less health, cures curses, and is instant cast. In my opinion, these phials are super useful in M+ affixes that give off bleed effects like Grievous. It's extremely helpful in situations like Spiteful when you get that, when you're already in melee range and you have an ad spawn on top of you and he just whaps you for a good chunk of damage. It's a nice ability or a nice button to press. That way you can just say, haha, you know, I just instantly healed what you did to me. So your healer kind of gives him a break or a reprieve. So it's a little more utility for the group. It's also very useful on some, you know, just random mob abilities in the dungeons. Some give curses, some give bleed effects if you get cleaved. You know, it's just nice overall utility and self-survival. On top of that, being Kyrian offers the ability to be very useful in Necrotic Wake, one of the most pain-in-the-ass dungeons in my opinion. I mean, it really depends on the group you get, but every group I've gotten for Necrotic Wake, it has been a bit rough. Every group, especially the pug groups. Now, in Necrotic Wake, you get a few like mini lust buff that you can use your little steward to fix the archons or whatever they are. So that's a nice little addition to it in Necrotic Wake for right before the first boss and right after you get up the stairs. So it's just a really nice addition for, in my opinion, the most pain in the ass dungeon for me to run, to find groups for, and for groups I'm in to run. So it's just nice to have around. Let's roll right on into what kind of content I think this Covenant is good for. Starters, M+, the class ability added much needed crit due to how well crit is scaling right now in this expansion pack. And with the needing of the ability to have to stack haste and versatility for damage, haste is a priority. Like, you can't go without haste. So if you're replacing haste with crit, yeah, you're going to sim a little bit better because it's basically simming more crits than anything else. You can carry more of your main secondary stats while getting a nice boost every 60 seconds to your overall third in choice, in my opinion, secondary stat that really boosts your DPS. The Summon Steward is just really nice to help your healer and give a little extra survivability, so more utility / survivability is always nice for a melee hunter. As for rating, it's nice, honestly, gives you a nice boost to your single target damage every minute during a boss fight or every minute while fighting trash packs to clear the way to a new boss. I really noticed that the 1 minute cooldown lined up especially well on Lady Enerva Dark Vein. The resonating arrow literally is up every time she spawns the 2 adds if you use it as soon as you start the fight. So if you start the fight and if your group pops Lust and you pop Coordinated Assault and you drop your arrow right as soon as the fight starts, then your resonating arrow will be back up by the time she casts the first set of adds. And if you use it 2 seconds, like if you drop the area of effect down when the timer says 1 second on your DBM countdown for when the adds drop, then it will be up every time the adds spawn. So it's a nice cleave ability for raid bosses as well. And as for the Phial of Serenity potions, easily said, you know, it takes off bleeds. So you can super cheese the Huntsman ability, Sin Seeker, or even, you know, when the first bear is out in Margwa, I think he is, or Margwa or something. I think basically you can cheese that bleed effect when he pounces on the group and it's a soak. You can literally just cheese the whole bleed, just chug a Phial of Serenity and it's gone. As for PvP, I have not yet done a lot of testing, but honestly in arenas, being able to stop the enemy healer from drinking behind a pillar is huge. In BG's, Resonating Arrow helps boost your burst a little. Definitely when you're trying to do a 2v1, so if you get your arrow down, you trap a guy inside of it, you burst down the first target, and then you can go and knock off your second target. It gives you that nice extra percentage chance to crit for that nice extra boost to your burst. And the Phial of Serenity in PvP, honestly, every survival hunter takes Mending Bandage. when they're fighting a rogue, a druid, warlock. Not a warlock, sorry, because we can't remove curses with that, which is another good reason to take File of Serenity. Mainly rogues, druids, and death knights. Unholy DKs to be specific, in my opinion, because they always use diseases. So it's just one of those things. It's super nice to have, especially instant cast. It's like a mending bandage, but better. Yes, you lose the 10% HP, increase to the heal, but you don't have to channel it. And it removes curses on top of everything. So just an overall game changer of a covenant to begin with for survival hunters. And finally, last but not least, my thoughts on the Kyrian covenant overall. It's a great covenant for survival hunters. The added burst from Resonating Arrow can be huge, but a nice overall boost once every 60 seconds, even for single target fights, especially in PvE. And due to the fact that PvP, your crit loses some of its, its oomph to it. So being able to have that extra crit that you don't stack in PvP while you're worrying more about versatility, while also having that crit for PvE standpoint, so that way you can do dungeons and progress in some gear if you don't have that arena rating. Which, by the way, very soon we will be starting our arena climb for our rating. I am still in the middle of trying to find a twos partner. So it's a little bit of a struggle right now, and survival hunters aren't in the best place for superior burst compared to monks or even arms warrior, death knights. Other than that, you really have to pick a good teammate that you synchronize well with. But to move on, the ability for Summon Steward, it is my favorite hands down for the Covenant, signature abilities. Besides the Venthyr one, I have not tested it, but Door of Shadows is going to work the same for any class that you do. The Summon Steward, being able to remove curses, poisons, bleeds, and diseases, on top of it being a 20% heal to your maximum HP on an instant cast that doesn't share a cooldown with your other potions, is extremely helpful for the survival hunter. I would personally rank each covenant for survival hunter. If I was to have to choose what I really wanted to do, I would say Kyrian would probably be my number one pick in total. And then my number two pick would really vary on if I wanted more of a transmog-y, single target PvP, more PvP oriented kind of deal for a covenant, or if I wanted, more of an M plus PvE covenant. So basically, if I want more of the single targetish kind of stuff, the Night Fae AoE is still very good for single target. The buff to the mastery it gives you, the buff to your maximum HP it gives you, and all the added benefit. It's a nice benefit, but I would say, Necrolord would probably be my second choice if I was going to go for a majority PvP standpoint. But if I was leaning between Necrolord or Night Fae for M plus or PvE, I would definitely say it would be Night Fae for PvE. But overall, it's your decision, what you want to do, what you like for transmogs, what you want to have for a transmog, what you really want to focus on with your character as a survival hunter. If you want to be PvP oriented, PvE oriented, like I said, it's all going to be based off of how you want to play your character and what you want to do. On that note, I appreciate all of you tuning in to the third and final Covenant review for the Survival Hunters. There will be a fourth if the Venthyr Covenant gets a huge change / buff to it. It needs a lot of work, but if there is good changes to it, I will go over it and I will take the time to do an overview for everybody to see what that's like once it's buffed or the changes have happened, if they are good changes. So with all that being said, I hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button. And if you want to make sure you don't miss a newly uploaded video when I post more, coming up very soon as I get this, it's going to be slow rolling to gradually build up to faster content coming out. But once it does, and my computer's in the right spot and everything's right where it should be, my program is right where I need it to be, all my apps and my add-ons are back to where they should be, because I originally wanted to do an add-on and macro video. That would have been my next video, but I got my new PC and spent a lot of time setting that up, and my add-ons and macros. My macros transferred, but I have some work that I need to do to some of them. And on top of that, my add-ons did not transfer, so I've literally been spending about 3 days-ish now, whatever time I have not been using to set up my PC to set up my add-ons. If you did like the video and you want to make sure you want to see more, make sure to subscribe and hit that bell to be notified. And until next time, can't drop out.